Hello, everyone. This is Nanji Mateo, the founder of Interpremed.com, and in this video, we are going to practice medical interpretation in a mini sprint format. A sprint is our fast-paced training at Interpremed. On YouTube, you'll find a bite-sized version of our 2-week oral exam prep sprint, which is designed to enhance the key skills and terminology used for certification or job assessments. We will complete 3 sections together: consecutive, simultaneous, and side translation, and I'll guide you through each step. For this consecutive portion, you will need a pen and paper to take notes as needed. Write down things like numbers, names, doses, and important information. You will hear a patient-doctor conversation and interpret it into your other language when they pause. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1.
And on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no pain at all and 10 being the worst pain you've ever had, how bad is your pain?
How do I explain it? It depends. Sometimes it hurts more, sometimes less. For example, when I bend or straighten my knee, it hurts more. But other times I feel like my knee gives out, almost like it turns into jelly.
And how bad would that be on the scale? I need a number, Mrs. Gonzalez.
Like an 8, I think.
Well, that wasn't so hard to answer. What about your other knee? Any pain or swelling?
No, not in the left knee, but in the right knee, yes.
Does your bad knee make it hard for you to do your activities of daily living, like walking or cleaning around the house?
Honestly, yes. I almost always limp when I walk because of the same pain. I have stairs in my house, and climbing them is very difficult because my knee kind of locks up in one position when I try to move it. Sometimes my daughter has to come and help me climb them. And well, I can't work because as soon as I bend down or bend my knee a couple of times, the pain won't let me finish cleaning. And to be completely honest, there are days when it's so severe that even standing or sitting in a chair is hard for me.
You've told me what makes your knee pain worse, but what makes it better?
Most of all, I try to avoid twisting or bending my knee as much as possible, and I take 1 or 2 ibuprofen tablets when the pain is very severe. Sometimes I put something cold on my knee, such as one of the bags of peas that we keep in the fridge. But I want to stress that these things only help me control my pain, but they don't get rid of it. All right, how was it? You likely found some parts really challenging and others very easy. If you're taking the NBCMI and or CCHI exam, the oral exam, you should be able to remember around 35 words or so, as no utterances are longer than that. And there are definitely plenty that utterances that are shorter than that. Now, let's take a moment to look at the vocabulary. Heard some phrases such as my knee gives out or my knee feel like jelly. So you'll have to find the equivalent term with the same tone and style and register that the patient used. Limp, cojeo, cojear, ibuprofen, which is the name of a medication. Sometimes medications are translated into the other language, spelled really similarly, but following the target language convention. Sometimes they are left in the same way. You'll have to use the convention from your own language. Daily activities, actividades diarias, swelling, etc. I'll leave some resources in the description box so those who do not speak Spanish are able to find other sources for these translations. Okay, so we got the hardest part out of the way. Now let's do a simultaneous exercise. Only CCHI tests simultaneous interpreting into and from English, but even if you're taking the NBCMI and you won't need simultaneous, practicing this mode helps your in-person interpreting skills when you need to use simultaneous. Also have access to more freelance opportunities and sharpen your focus. So there are many benefits of using simultaneous. As you listen to this recording that I'm about to play, you should interpret into your other language at the same time. That's why it's called simultaneous. If you feel like your brain is starting to melt, please do not panic. It is common for simultaneous to be overwhelming if you're unexperienced or rusty. So just give it your best shot. And if you get stuck, remember to use Dory's mantra from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. In this case, just keep interpreting. So, are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Why it's important to vaccinate your child. There are several reasons why you should vaccinate your child, Miss Esperanza. Even though you think your child is very small and young, he is exposed to a lot of germs in his environment. These germs are present in the food he eats, the air he breathes, and the things he puts in his mouth. I know you want him to build up his immunity naturally, but this is not the safest way of acquiring immunity. Immunizations give your child, Alonzo, protection against many diseases like rubella, chickenpox, measles, mumps, tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, polio, etc. These diseases used to kill a lot of children back in the day. You may think that your baby does not need vaccines because of what you've seen on TV, read on social media, or heard from the anti-vaxxer community. But immunizations can save your baby's life. Vaccines are very safe and effective. They are only given to children after they have been carefully reviewed by scientists, doctors, and healthcare professionals. Of course, there are some mild side effects, but it's nothing like a full-blown disease.
Of course, there is some discomfort involved in vaccination. The shot may cause pain, redness, or tenderness at the site of the injection, but this is nothing compared to the discomfort and trauma caused by the diseases these vaccines prevent. You are not only protecting your baby, but others you care about as well. There are people who can't get immunizations either because they are too young, they have severe allergies, or weakened immune systems. If you and your baby get vaccinated, you are helping other immunocompromised populations to be safe because you won't spread the disease to your friends and loved ones.
All right, that was the simultaneous exercise. The consecutive and simultaneous are undoubtedly the hardest modes of interpreting. So, which one did you find more challenging and why? Let me know in the comment section. So, now let's try sight translation, which might be easier for you if you have good reading skills. For this section, I want you to take a moment to read the text 1 to 2 minutes and identify any unknown terms and the flow of the ideas. Then you should interpret or sight translate out loud, which means as you read in English, say it in your other language. You can pause the video and complete this exercise. One tip that you can use for sight translation is trying to read ahead. So while your eyes, for instance, in this first sentence say a heart attack happens when blood flow to part of the heart becomes suddenly blocked, as you say a heart attack happens when you keep your eyes at the next portion or the next segment in that sentence, and that way you know what's coming and you can modify your interpretation, your sight translation, so it's clearer and flows better without awkward pauses or clunky, uh, non grammatically correct sentences. So once you complete this exercise, I want to congratulate you. You have completed this mini sprint. So now you can visit interpret.com to access the full-fledged oral exam prep sprint from April 2025 using the recordings and tons of practice materials in the 3 modes of interpretation. Plus, you'll also have note-taking audio glossaries and terminology quizzes with a final mock exam simulating multiple scenarios that you might find in an assessment or certification to test your skills and get a final grade. So, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, bye.